Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for firing my babysitter for drinking alcohol when she was watching my kids? Since the beginning of summer, my parents convinced me to hire my sister, 19F, to babysit my two kids while I'm at work. My kids are 5 male and 4 meters. Everything was going well until I came home late in the evening and found my sister, who was drinking alcohol and was drunk, and her heavily drunk boyfriend who was throwing up in my bathroom. This pissed me off because she wasn't supposed to be drinking any alcohol when watching my kids, and she brought her boyfriend to my house, who I haven't even met yet. When I asked her where my kids were, she did not even know. I found them outside digging in the yard. After this happened, I kicked both of them out of my house and fired my sister. She then blew up at me saying that it wasn't right to fire her all because she had a little to drink. My parents got involved and told me that I was overreacting and was being inconsiderate. They even tried to assure me that my kids were fine and nothing bad happened. But I tried to tell them that that wasn't the point. Am I the asshole here? Because the babysitter was so grossly negligent while intoxicated at work. NTA, fire her. She would be fired if she had been drinking and entirely ignoring her work at any other job. The lives of the children are at risk, which makes the situation worse. Comment by team member Parker. Now for the top comments. Wow. This is shocking. She was so hammered she didn't know where your kids were. You are not overreacting, and you most certainly aren't being inconsiderate. NTA. Not sure if there is some type of babysitter reviews app, but this is definitely worth letting other parents know before they make the mistake of hiring her. This cold ended badly, and instead of apologizing profusely for her negligence, she's doubling down and saying it was no biggie. She's not responsible enough to care for a cactus, let alone small children. And with the way ops parents are acting, it's no surprise at all that the sister is this irresponsible. NTA. Your folks' reaction is so shocking. Your sister is not going to change with that kind of enabling. I genuinely don't understand the parents here. Do they seriously suggest leaving children with a drunk person who doesn't know where they are? Where do you think the sister got this behavior from? Am I the antagonist for keeping my kids' activities a secret from my husband? My 39F husband, 39 male, is very paranoid about drowning. When he was 7, he and his 4-year-old little brother fell into a river. They pulled them both out, but his brother didn't survive. As a result, he has never let our kids, 14F and 15 male, near any body of water. He didn't even let them get swim lessons because he was worried they might drown in the pool if they went in it. When the kids were toddlers, we were going on a road trip and stopped at a viewing point close to a stream. Our daughter wandered off for a moment. She just went back to the car, and I found her there in literally 10 seconds. But the moment he couldn't see her, he had a bad panic attack because he thought she went to the stream. 2 years ago, our daughter let slip that our son was at a pool party at his friend's. He called him once, and when he didn't pick up, he had a panic attack so bad that we had to go to the hospital. Our kids felt really bad and promised him he'll never go near water. Has refused to go to therapy because he just let me have this one small rule. Please. Overall, has not a strict dad at all, and I do admit it's just one small rule, but there's no question it's kind of extreme. Last month, our kids wanted to accompany their friends to fishing at one of their lake houses 2 hours from town. They wanted my help hiding it from their dad. I didn't want to betray his trust, but they were so excited, so I did. I told him I spoke to the friend's parents and that there was just going to be some hiking. He trusted me, so he didn't inquire too much. Ever since then, the kids have been completely open with me about disregarding his no water body rule. They go to lakes, rivers, pools, and are even planning to visit a beach this month. They don't feel bad about lying because it's not a big deal, and dad will go crazy if he finds out. I mean, I know he's really paranoid, and I obviously don't want him to have another panic attack. But I feel like the kids will do what they want anyway, especially when it feels so minor to them. So there's no point trying to control them. Since has refused to go to therapy, Keeping it a secret is my only option, because there's no way I can reason him out of this. If kids haven't had swimming lessons, the incidents that are feared may really happen. This is your husband forcing his trauma onto your kids, not just one simple rule. Comment by team member Charlie. Now for the top comments. Okay. He needs therapy. His small rule is unworkable, beyond how unfair it is to his family. He obviously has unresolved trauma about the incident that is not getting better. It hurts him. But you just letting your kids run wild to pool parties and beaches without teaching them to swim is genuinely dangerous. Plus the lying. Bad move. Esh. Yeah. Please have them learn how to swim. This is a must. Otherwise they might actually drown. Esh, except the kids. My mother had the same fear, and I was never allowed to learn to swim, or go into anything more than knee deep even as a teenager. When I went to college I finally took a swimming class, and now at best am a very weak swimmer. I can't tell you how much I have missed in life, and how envious I have been of all the fun everyone else was having. Now I have grandchildren, and they swim like fish and they have tons of fun, and it is so sad for children to miss out on that. You need to put your foot down here. Your husband is being selfish and immature. He needs to get himself to therapy and quit messing up his children's life because of something that happened before they were born. What you both need to realize is that they are in more danger by not knowing how to swim. Regardless of what he tries to dictate, they obviously are not going to stay away from water, and they should not have to. They need to go to beginning swim classes and get started right. I understand that knowing how to swim is not a guarantee of never drowning. Even good swimmers can drown. But knowing how to swim evens up the odds a great deal. You need to muster up your courage and sit him down at a good time and ask him to do his best to remain calm while you talk to him. Sooner or later this will come out, and it is much better on your terms than by accident. You need to insist that he gets therapy to deal with this. Am I the antagonist for refusing to offer any kind of support to my children's half siblings? I have two children who are now 12 and 11 with my ex, who passed a little over a year ago. While we were still together he ended up becoming infatuated with this addict who he left me for. They married and had two small children together. He had limited contact with our children because I fought to keep my kids away from her. Then my ex died, and his wife lost her parental rights, which from the sounds of it, she was fine with. My ex's family wanted me to take the two children and raise them, with the offer of financial assistance from them to aid in that working. I said no, and it led to tension. I did allow them to keep contact going and set up visits, but I do not want to be involved in those other two children. My former ILs have both run into some health problems and they have continued turning to me for help, which I have said no to. Recently my former Phil was hospitalized after a heart attack, and my former mother-in-law told me someone needs to step up and help them with the kids. I said I'm not going to do it. I told them it can never be me, and they need to accept that and find someone else. Now I'm running into a lot of crap from extended family who do not live nearby, saying I'm the closest thing they have to a parent now, and that my former ILs are unlikely to be healthy enough to raise these kids to 18, and it would be evil of me to let the kids go into foster care or get sent states away from their siblings who live with me. They also claim I'm going to make my kids hate me, which I seriously doubt. Am I the antagonist? NTA replies, I feel for those children, but they are not your duty. These kids don't know your kids at all. Inform your ex-in-laws that the topic is off limits and ask them not to bring it up again. Have you not already dealt with enough? Comment by team member Charlie. Now for the top comments. NTA. Even if the ex had not cheated, you do not have a moral, certainly not legal, obligation to those children. But he did. So it is even more understandable that you would not want to raise those kids. Tell your ILs and everyone else that 1. You've moved on from your ex and feel no obligation towards him outside of your children. 2. They can either step up and take them. 3. To spend their time finding someone in the mother's family to take them instead of harassing you. I truly think his family has some nerve. They are the R's. It's appalling how so many posts here is hey so your ex that you have kid or kids with can no longer care for the children he/she had with another, and you already have prior kids with them. so you should take these children in too. I agree. I haven't been on Reddit long and am shocked by the question, but appalled by the demand. It's always people that are actually related to the children that don't want or can't handle the responsibility. NTA, but the extended family who is criticizing you are free to take care of the children whenever they want. Exactly, they are related to these children by blood, you are not the a-hole. Am I the antagonist for not providing my son with healthy food? My son is 14 and he is in 3 athletic activities. Thank God at least one of them doesn't run in the summer. He eats like a vacuum. I'm in charge of all the cooking, my husband the washing up in the house. I provide 3 squares. But if my son wants to eat outside of that, he needs to make it himself. He's fine with this and even goes grocery shopping with me to pick out his own ingredients. Now, I make healthy meals for the kids. Last night dinner was baked chicken, squash and whole grain rice. Right before bed son wants to eat again. So he went into the kitchen and made half a box, so about 8-10 ounces of dried pasta, which, once cooked, is a ton of pasta. He drowned it in olive oil and red wine vinegar and mixed in salt, black pepper, and garlic powder. Then he poured half a jar of olives on top. So just carbs, fat and salt basically. My husband came downstairs, saw what he was eating and got upset. He said, "Christ, son, eat a vegetable." Son got defensive and said olives are vegetables. My husband said they aren't real vegetables. They were getting heated, so I stepped in and said he had a healthy meal earlier and will burn it all off at practice tomorrow anyway. My husband turned on me and said, "This is your fault. If you weren't too lazy to make the kid a snack he wouldn't be eating that crap. He's going to have a heart attack at 40. Then he stormed off. My husband's comments hurt my feelings. What's worse, my sister agrees with him. She said I could have made him a salad and it wouldn't have taken long. I just really don't think it's that bad because he eats healthy 3 times a day and he burns off all the carbs and fat at practice. I know that was a lot of salt though. Am I the antagonist? Am I just justifying because I'm lazy? I don't see any issues with this. Sincerely, the 3 healthful meals you prepare for your family each day are superior to the fare consumed by many other families. A salad wouldn't have been as filling. In addition, if he's so upset, your husband can also cook him a snack. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. Info: is your husband incapable of whipping up a salad for your son to eat along with his pasta? Lol, if her husband doesn't know how to make a salad, I'd say she's got bigger problems. I'm guessing it's less that he doesn't know and more that he thinks it's not his place to have to. NTA, if your husband felt that strongly about it, why didn't he make your son a salad? Why isn't he making any of the snacks? There's nothing wrong with a carby, salty snack now and then. Your son is also 14 and he can cook for himself if he wants something outside of meals. If not, it sounds like you'd be cooking food all day long. If your husband wants him to have healthier snacks, that's totally cool. He can batch cook them for son. NTA, why isn't your husband cooking for him then? You're cooking your family 3 healthy meals a day, which is honestly better than what a lot of families eat. And your son is active and growing. Besides, a salad wouldn't have been as filling. I don't see a problem here. Wibta for not inviting my friends over unless they get a babysitter. I occasionally host game nights at my house and like to invite friends over. But I'm strongly considering not inviting over one couple unless they leave their child at home. They have brought their child, age 5, the past 3 or 4 times. And without fail, the child has urinated in my living room. I don't have kids, so I don't know when potty training is supposed to be locked in. The parents insist every time that the child is getting better, but still it happens. When it does, I try to be gracious and tell them not to worry about it. But it's still frustrating to know that every time I invite them over, I'm going to have to clean pee out of somewhere. The child goes on the sofa, on the chair, out in the open on my carpet. I hate to ask that they get a babysitter for the next time, but I feel like it's either that or simply not invite them anymore. The next time you throw a gathering, kindly inform them that while you would love for them to join, Their youngster is not permitted. Stop them at the door if they arrive with their child and respectfully inform them that you are unable to accommodate their child. Comment by team member Parker. Now for the top comments. NTA, I'm a parent. I would be mortified to continue to let my child over without pull-ups or something if they peed in someone else's house like that. As a dog owner, parent, I'm mortified when my dog pees on other PPLS things. Not even in the house. Just Doug, you're embarrassing me by peeing on the neighbor's stuff. Luckily they also have a dog who pees on my stuff, but still. So IDK how someone can let their child pee in someone's house on their things. NTA, they should be offering to have it cleaned professionally. I honestly would explain to them that until their child is fully potty trained, that you don't feel comfortable with the child coming over. Explain to them that you are not comfortable cleaning up urine every time, and that you are concerned that it will do permanent damage to your house and furniture. If they insist on still bring their child, then tell them that from now on you will be asking them to pay to have whatever the child peed in cleaned or replaced. All they have to do is say they want the games to be adults only. I'm sure the 5-year-old is not having fun anyway. Am I the antagonist for not making him what he wants? My CL and her husband arrived last night. As we were helping them get their stuff into the guest room, her husband, who I've met like 3 times, said waffles for breakfast would be great. I was a bit taken aback, but then I assumed it was a joke that didn't land well. We don't have a waffle line anyway. I made the usual eggs, beans and toast for breakfast. When CL and her husband came in, he frowned and asked where the waffles were. I said I didn't make any. He asked why. I was a touch annoyed and said this isn't a restaurant. He said they are guests and their needs should be taken into account. Then he said he was allergic to beans. I asked why he didn't tell me he was allergic to beans. He said he told me he wanted waffles, and the reason why shouldn't matter because they are guests. My husband jumped in and said eat eggs and toast or go get breakfast elsewhere. He left with CL. Did I break an etiquette rule? Was I an ass? The nearest waffle establishment or breakfast eatery is X kilometers away. You should have said while looking directly at your brother-in-law. You are not entitled to overrule the host just because you are a guest. When you are a guest, you don't demand a specific menu and expect to get your way. Comment by team member Corey. Now for the top comments. NTA. What universe does this person live in where he thinks this is normal at all? Hospitality is one thing, but guests are also expected to be polite and gracious. I cannot imagine demanding a specific meal from a host that made zero indication that they would be making me specialized meals. Brother-in-law's mind. I've landed in a bed and breakfast where the valet who brought up my luggage will be taking my order for breakfast tomorrow. There's a saying, guests, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days, but your CL's husband managed to stink after several minutes. You're not a hotel, nor a restaurant, and if he had specific dietary needs or expectations he should have communicated this in advance. Not the a-hole, but good luck with the rest of this trip. Right. Evidently ops hospitality is also expected to include mind reading. He didn't ask. He made an offhand comment about something op didn't even have the machinery to make. People with allergies or food restrictions should also be expected to express that, or you can't expect others to know. NTA, there is no rule of etiquette in the world that states your guests can treat you like a personal restaurant. If he is allergic to beans he can still eat the eggs. If he is so allergic you can't have beans in the house, he also knows he has to mention that to people regardless of what you may or may not make.